Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to tell you all how I got an A star in my English Lit GCSE with pretty much 5 hours, one night's revision. So yeah, keep watching to find out. So yeah, I got an 8 in my English Lit GCSE, which is the equivalent to an A star, I think. I think people have been told some different things, but that's what I was told in my school. Basically, I was so stressed because you have to learn something like 15 poems. I was on the AQA system. I think with the other boards you have to do the same thing, but it's just like more or less poems. But I had to learn 15 and I was so stressed. You can't learn 15 poems like inside out, back to front. I mean, you probably can, but realistically, like, that's hard. So if you can do that, that is awesome. You're amazing. But I personally couldn't do that. So my mum is an absolute genius. And with the poems, she found this little trick where you don't even have to learn them all. Like, you literally don't have to learn them all. So you're going to get given a theme. I think for the AQA one we did last year, but I'm not sure what, like, the other boards get. But basically, you get given a theme. And I'm sure your teachers probably told you all the themes. So me and my mum, we wrote down all the themes. And then when we were putting each poem into a theme, we were trying to fit it into as many themes as possible. So all of the poems that were in more than one theme, I learned inside out, back to front, which was about 5 poems, I think. So if you do this, you'll find that one poem can fit to at least 3 themes. So I think one of mine, what was it? Last Duchess, and I fit that into power, conflict, and identity. Let's pretend that power, conflict, and identity were the only themes that you're going to get. So you had 15 poems, right? But those are the 3 themes that you could get given. So I think it was like My Last Duchess or something. That I think I've put in power, conflict, and identity. And say another poem also fit in power, conflict, and identity. That's all the ones you need to learn inside out, back to front. It's kind of confusing, but put your poems into the themes, but try and have poems crossing over to other themes so it has more than one theme to it. And then learn all the ones that like cross over into all the themes, inside out, back to front. So I learned 5 poems, like I knew every single thing about them. And then after that, I looked through the other poems. So I had like a brief idea only in case that was the one that came up. So say one, for example, came up in the exam that you hadn't like learnt inside out, back to front, and it was just one that you'd looked over, you'd be fine because it was on your sheet. So you can be like, oh, I remember that line was from this. So make sure you've gone through every single poem like enough that you understand what it's about. Basically, I did that. I just went through like all 15 poems so I knew what they were roughly about, and I knew a few quotes and what they could like evoke and stuff like that. So say if one of the ones that you hadn't learned inside out, back to front like came up on the paper, you'd be fine because you will have gone through it slightly and be like, oh, I remember that line now, that could mean this and stuff like that, and you'd be like, oh, it's just about that. And then you'll easily be able to compare it to one that like you know inside out, back to front, because you've got one for every single theme. Literally, that's what happened in my exam. So one that I hadn't learnt like loads came in. It was Ozymandias, and I'd looked over it though. I knew the context and everything, so I just kind of made my way through that and then compared it to one I knew really well because I could. And I had a choice as well because like I'd made sure the poems could all somehow cross over into each theme. Say if it was the other way around though, like one that you know really, really well came in, then you'd also be fine because whichever theme it gave you, you have got more than one in each theme. You'll be absolutely fine because you have more than one in each theme. So like, it's really simple. It's like, it sounds really confusing, but it's so simple. Fit one poem into as many themes as possible so that you don't have to sit there learning all of them. I'm saying this, but I did need to make sure that I had a rough idea of the context of every single poem so I knew what was going on, and, you know, a few highlighted quotes that I could know if they were like on the paper. So yeah, that's basically how I did it, and I only learned 5 poems inside out, back to front. Another thing you need to do is basically just lie. Literally, when I was analysing a poem in my exam, it was like, what does this poem show about the woman growing up? or something. And it was basically a poem like where it had like a line where it was talking about like growing up, and then a line about like her past, and a line about her growing up, then a line about her past. And because the lines where she was talking about growing up were like longer, I literally said, they've done this because they want to show that she's been thinking about growing up more than she has about her past, because the line's longer, so it means like she's been thinking about it longer. Not true in any way. Like, what I said sounds so stupid, but it gets you marks. So literally just think outside the box, you know what I mean? I'm sorry if this video was kind of confusing. The first point kind of sounds confusing, but basically just try and fit one poem into as many themes as possible. Make sure you have 2 poems from in each theme that you know, inside out, back to front, and have a rough idea of every other poem. This is like your last resort. I was having a mental breakdown when I was doing this, so that's my excuse. But yeah, honestly guys, you'll be fine. It's a hefty exam, I'm not going to lie to you, but honestly, you'll smash it. Check out for poems Mr. Bruff. He is amazing, so definitely check him out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.